Howdy, we are back on Texas history. Ignore the frizzy hair. I was just doing yard work. But we are on, I believe, section 12, and we are starting with Texas as a state. Badass. And on December 29th, 1845, Texas officially became a state. In 1846 was the start of the US-Mexican War because Mexico did not agree to the United States having the bottom border that Texas, the country, had. So they said that they were above the Rio Grande, where we were trying to claim to the Rio Grande. Mexico is trying to say it was all the way up to San Antonio. And there was a battle of Palo Pinto in Brownsville on May 8th of 1846, and that was the first battle of the war. Now, the war just lasted 2 years. There were a lot of battles, but not really any major ones. In 1848, there was the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, and it was on February 2nd of 1848. It established the borders, and it finally recognized that Texas was no longer a country and was now a state. It also gave the U.S. some of the northern Mexico territories, which included California, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona, also parts of Wyoming and Colorado. Because those were at least some of them were actually part of the country of Texas that Mexico was trying to hold on to whenever we became a state, because we actually lost a lot of our land mass when we became a state. And the treaty cost the U.S. about $15 million. Now, in 1850, Texas ranchers began to drive cattle towards California to feed all the miners of the gold rush. It was 6 months one way, and this actually stopped in 1857 because there was no longer the gold rush there in California, so there was no reason to be running all these cows to California. In 1853, there was the first Texas railroads were built. It was the Harrisburg Railroad, and it was 20 miles long from Harrisburg to Stafford's Point. All it did was transport goods. Didn't really do it. It wasn't. I mean, yes, they did have passenger cars, but it really wasn't a passenger train thing. It was just to move goods back and forth between that area. And in 1854, they got the first telegraph in Marshall, Texas, which connected to Louisiana and Mississippi. October 1st of 1855 was the Calhoun expedition. James Calhoun led an invasion into Mexico with 111 men. They were supposedly getting revenge against the Lipan Apaches. Now, the thing with the Lipan Apaches is, yes, they were always in and out of Texas, and they did some horrible things to the settlers, but the settlers kind of took their land. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to say, oh, you were so bad, you're so evil, whenever, they were trying to right a wrong. But the whole reason why they actually went into Mexico was to recover escaped slaves that had settled around San Fernando in Coahuila. And because they actually had a settlement there that was mostly escaped slaves that spoke Spanish. They were driven back, and they caused a bunch of damage in Mexico and strained relations between Texas and Mexico and the U.S. and Mexico. And that's where we're going to stop. This one is right where the Calhoun expedition is. Now, I know this is a little shorter than most of my Texas history ones, but my main thing is I plan that way on purpose because I do want to make sure that everybody who was affected by Harvey that watches this knows that y'all are in mine, Vivian, and Zoya's thoughts and prayers. We wish there was more we could do. We did donate a bunch of stuff. And then I also wanted to let any of our viewers in Florida or any of the Caribbean, to please know that y'all are in our thoughts and prayers with Irma coming at y'all. This is just ridiculous. 2 Category 5 hurricanes right like that. It's got me scared. And on that note, I want y'all to remember to decrease world suck every day. Don't forget to be awesome. And remember that I love y'all. Bye. Y'all have a great day. Take care of one another.